Here are 50 random and, to be honest with you, mostly useless facts about Clash of Clans. The 2023 Christmas Tree Special obstacle is the only one that doesn't have a patch of grass under it. This is even more noticeable in some sceneries, like the Toy Workshop for example, where it doesn't have a platform under it. Before its official release, when the Inferno Artillery was activated or was attacking, the glow around it was yellow. However, this was changed to an orange glow in most areas for its final release. Not gonna lie, it makes more sense to be orange. This is the first loading screen image in Clash of Clans, and while the characters look more or less the same as they do today, the Archer has an interesting feature that she never once had ever again: a nose ring. It might be hard to see, but yeah, in the next loading screen, that piercing disappeared. The Fire Spitter was likely inspired by an old scrap defense. During an interview with a developer in 2022, this image of building concept art was shared, and on the left side you can see a building that shoots fire, and it happens to rotate in 45-degree angles. Pretty cool. The Ice Golem almost didn't make the cut as a troop in the game. Developers confirmed that they were working on the Ice Golem for Town Hall 12 content, but it was eventually scrapped, never making it beyond testing stages. However, just a few months later, the Ice Golem would be added, unlocked at Town Hall 11. Town Hall 17 is the only Town Hall to have a custom 3-star image in Clan Wars. Usually for a 2-star they all have a custom image, most of them at least, but when they get 3-star they all look the same. All but Town Hall 17. You may be familiar with the gem packs in Clash of Clans. For nearly the entire game's history, they've always offered the same $1, $5, $10, $20, $50, and $100 pack. But there is a $200 pack. Yes, it exists, but it's not in the game. It's a Supercell store exclusive, so you have to get it from the website. Town Hall 7 is the first Town Hall in the game where the laboratory upgrades take longer than the builder upgrades. If you look closely, the Battle Builder hut is shooting nails. It's certainly hard to tell when it's in action unless you slow it down and pause it, but if you've ever paid attention to the finished upgrade screen, you can clearly see the nails around it. In the game's early development stages, it appears iron and wood were supposed to be materials in the game. There was a third one, but for some reason the image is missing. You can see the production buildings for these materials in the village, and the main currencies were gold and purple gems. Interestingly, from another picture, we can see that gold was collected from a strange building called the Happy House, which, as mentioned in a previous facts video, sits in the 10th Clashiversary scenery. A root rudder blown up by a gigabomb hilariously brings the ground with it. Supercharged upgrades are the only upgrades in the game that get cheaper in cost the higher the level. Oddly enough though, as they get cheaper, the upgrades take longer. In the gingerbread scenery, there's a gingerbread that occasionally waves at you. It's only visible if you zoom in, as it's covered by other decor. Surrounding the ancient barbarian statue with stone paths will stop grass from growing around it. If you leave a gap around it, you can limit the amount of grass that grows. It's pretty cool, you can basically control the grass. While Clash of Clans on Windows is essentially the same game as it is on mobile, there is one PC exclusive feature, and that is being able to assign keys to select troops, spells, heroes, etc. It shows up as a little number or a letter on each unit and is fully customizable. The Bob Hut is the only building in the home village that doesn't have a preview when tapping info. Despite the Stone Slammer having several patches in its artwork, it doesn't have any when it's deployed. You can freeze the water in the clan capital with the Frost spell, allowing troops to walk across the frozen water. Scouting yourself allows you to see obstacles that are about to spawn in your base soon. The location isn't always accurate, but sometimes it actually spawns where it said it was going to be. Using 5 heroes in an attack is possible, but under very specific circumstances. It only happens when you are a returning player attacking yourself. If you keep increasing the number of unplaced items, the icons just keep getting smaller and smaller. For example, in this player's case, he has 40 unplaced items. You can lose the tutorial battle by placing barbarians one by one. Funny enough, even with 0%, the villager still says that was a great battle. As you know, every time you attack with a shield, the number of hours it takes off your shield increases from 3 to 4, 5, and so on. But have you ever wondered if this number stops? No? Well, I did, and it turns out the max is 24 hours. It's a pretty rare sight because usually you run out of shields before getting to that number, but it's easily achievable by buying a 1-week shield from the shop. You may have noticed when Clan Games is over, all of the gear is packed up. Interestingly though, it contains items that were removed from this area, like the fireworks that is under all of the gear and the tent rolled up on the side of the caravan. The current slowest unit in the game is the log launcher with a speed of 4. This used to be the mountain golem before it got a speed buff. According to its description in Squad Busters, the Yeti is a dad and the Yeti mites are his kids. Back in the day, troops and spells were divided by what currency they required to train and brew, and you needed to go to that specific barracks to train that troop. However, with there being no cost anymore and a universal barrack system, it really makes you wonder why even bother having such distinctions nowadays. Well, according to a developer, these troops still have a clear difference. Dark Elixir troops and spells are a bit more technical and niche, while Elixir stuff is a bit more clear and straightforward. Their usage is more obvious. According to Clash lore, the bowler was the one that told Wallbreakers they should throw the bombs instead of carrying them, allowing it to become troops like the bomber. Town Hall 7s with a queen, as weird as it sounds, is a real thing. When they were adding the hero hall into the game, there were instances of town halls having heroes they shouldn't have and levels that exceeded their max. Surprisingly, many players got to keep these accidental unlocks. I suspect one day these accounts may be rare. The archers and wizards on top of their towers change pretty frequently, and it really makes you wonder why the bomb tower doesn't. Well, it actually does, but just once. At level 4, it gets a new mask and different color gloves. The voice behind many Barbarian and Barbarian King appearances in commercials is that of John Mondelli. You may or may not be familiar with that name, as he voiced many characters in Brawl Stars and in Clash Royale. The Inferno Tower was likely inspired by the Lord of the Ring Eye of Sauron, a tower with a flaming eye. This was referenced further in Clash Royale, where it has an emote where it blinks. According to Supercell, the Barbarian's least favorite defense is the air defense because it doesn't fight back, and he loves a good fight. Also in the same discussion, a little off topic, but according to them, 1 billion Barbarians are deployed every week. You only need to get 8 stars during a Clan War League to get the full amount of medals. As you know, getting to a new town hall, you get a boost for a few days. This boost actually stacks, so assuming you jump from Town Hall 4 to Town Hall 17 all in one go, you'll end up with a boost of 58 days, which seems to be the highest amount until another town hall comes out. If a storage or collector is being repaired as a troop is taking resources from it, the amount of resources stolen per hit decreases. And attacking Fire Spitter is using the same attacking sound as a wall wrecker, but with a higher pitch. Original concepts for the free jungle scenery showed that it was supposed to have structures and more detail. However, for the final release of it, it ended up having none of that. Most town halls today have an official theme like jungle, magic, nature, and you would assume Town Hall 17's theme is simply justice. However, in the official Supercell website, it is revealed that the actual theme is justice and order. The P.E.K.K.A.s and wizards that spawn from a siege barracks are the level of them in your laboratory. Even when you receive one as a donation, the troop levels always scale with yours. With that in mind, if you happen to not have P.E.K.K.A.s and wizards unlocked for whatever reason, they will be level 1. According to Supercell, 68% of players learn about the game through word of mouth, compared to the App Store that only brings in 15% of its players directly. You may associate 1 gem donations as a perk for the Gold Pass, but this was already a thing before the Gold Pass existed. It was reserved for special events in a time when the gem costs were much higher than they are today, and they were rare, but they happened. Players liked it so much, which is probably the reason it ended up as a perk. The event would show up after the pass was added a couple more times, but it's been a few years since it last happened. Archer towers used to gain more archers every few levels, but when the multi-archer towers came out with multiple archers on them, in order to make them more distinctive, they reduced the archers on the normal towers to 1. The Minion Prince is the first and only hero that defends in air mode. In the left side of the War Machine scenery is a goblin on a wrecking ball. This is referencing a 2013 song by Miley Cyrus called Wrecking Ball, where in the video she is seen swinging on a wrecking ball. The Fierce King is currently the only standard Barbarian King skin besides the default. Upgrading to Town Hall 7 will automatically claim all of the starter pass rewards whether they were unlocked or not. You don't actually have to do any of them. This is also the case for the special challenges for returning players. If you never do them, you'll still get all of the rewards when the timer runs out. Despite many time and cost reductions throughout the years that Clash of Clans has seen, gear ups are the only upgrades that have not been affected by these reductions, costing and taking just as long as they did in 2017. Every wallbreaker and bomber in each village wears a hat that corresponds to the main builder in that village. So guys, those are 50 random facts, and as you can see, random they were. I hope you're still awake. But yeah, that's all I have for here today. Down below, I'll leave a link for the full playlist of this series. But if you don't want to watch that, hey, these are the things you'll like this next video, so why don't you check it out? As always, Havoc Gaming outs. Peace!